was talking to my friend in the microbiology department about how if you add 2 drops too many of this or that to a petri dish, it can change the growth of the entire colony. You know, that got me thinking, I'm not sure we're speaking totally different languages here. So I studied prenatal mental health and the effects on infants in terms of temperament, so that's our ability to emotionally react, and then to regulate or bring that back down as appropriate and healthy. Okay, so fetal programming is that intermediate step, which basically says that what happens in the womb doesn't stay in the womb. It can actually affect the person's whole life, that fetus. So prenatal depression is actually considered to be a public health concern. And one of the reasons is that those toxic stress hormones that are released in depression have been associated with a more difficult temperament profile in infancy, so greater fearful reactivity, startle response, inability to be soothed when they're distressed. Not only is this rather depressing news for caregivers, it can actually mean the baby is at higher risk for anxiety and things like substance use later on in life. So are antidepressants the problem or the solution here? Great question. So 13% of pregnant women who are taking them sure hope so. But the research is mixed on whether or not antidepressants are safe for baby. So one thing that can happen is that when a fetus is receiving insufficient oxygen, we see a pattern of circulatory redistribution that protects the brain. So blood flow actually increases in the brain at the expense of other vital organs like the heart and lungs. And we do see this problem with SSRI antidepressants. Okay, so I ran analyses on 100 mother-infant dyads, pairs, and I did see that when I did not control for depression, we did indeed see trending effects towards lower soothability and increased fearful response. But when we control for depression or pull out those effects disappeared, which suggests that depression may actually be the real culprit here. So I have a passion for disseminating this information. I would really like to get this information out of the dusty journals and into the hospitals and birth classes that we need to include prenatal mental health care as part of those routine screenings. But more immediately, I would like to look at those physiological mechanisms underlying fetal programming. This is sort of an untouched space between psychology and biology. And so I would really like to investigate that. I think this research could influence families, the integrated medicine paradigm of kind of incorporating mental health care into the medical centers directly, and actually the population rates of mental illness for literally generations to come.